Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to e-Residency live Q&A session, which is a bit more festive today because it's Christmas time. And we are waiting for a couple of minutes to people to join. In the meantime, when you are joining, you are welcome to write to chat from where are you joining. And if you are really in the Christmas mood, you can have something thematical added there as well. But yeah, we are going to start pretty soon. Practical information is that if you would like to ask a question, then please do add your questions to Q&A tab. So the chat is for chatting, greetings, and so on. But for the questions, please use Q&A tab so that we are able to answer them in written form, or actually someone with a voice will answer. We have today quite many guests from one of the service providers, and also we have e-resident here, and we have Liina. She's the managing director of e-Residency, especially for you for the Christmas edition.
Very happy to be here. Hello, everyone. You can see we have people from India, Spain, UK, Germany, France. Sound is off. Or could be louder, I guess, right?
Do others have the same problem? You can add the information to chat.
You hear us well?
Yes.
I hope the audience hears as well.
We have people from the Philippines, Saudi Arabia. Nice. Australia. Hannah.
I can imagine the time difference. It's 3 p.m. here in Tallinn, if anyone is interested. So you can do the math, how many hours is the difference.
And
anyway,
also it's almost dark. So this is something very specific to Estonia and the Nordics. It's almost feels like nighttime already.
It's one of the most, I think it's one of the darkest days of the year, because since 21st of December, it should start going lighter day by day, minute by minute. But now it's really dark.
Yes, it's really dark, and it's, yeah.
So that's why we are in such a good mood here. And probably it's a good time to start. I will still remind you that if you have any questions right now, you can already add your questions, or if you have questions later based on what you hear during the live Q&A, please do add your questions to Q&A tab. Chat is for chatting and sharing some fun information if you would like to. Also, if there are any links to Facebook or WhatsApp or other social media groups shared, then they are not official channels of e-Residency. So you can join, of course, but please just be aware that our official community channels are available for joining through our website. But without further ado, we have just a second. Yes, we have pretty many guests here today. As said, Liina and me are from e-Residency team. Then we have Kaili and Terje from Grant Thornton Estonia, one of the service providers available in e-Residency marketplace. And then I'm super happy that in a last moment we managed also to invite one real e-resident join with us. So Martin will give a short overview of his experience with e-Residency later as well. And we all are happy to answer questions during the live Q&A session as well. So for the beginning, I will give the word to Grant Thornton to introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Kaili. I'm head of business process solution in Grant Thornton Estonia. Become partner this year, but have been in Grant Thornton for several years. My own background is actually as a tax advisor, but now leading the accounting team. And Grant Thornton, yes, in Estonian market more than 30 years now already. And our first service line was accounting as such. And currently we are providing in Estonia not only accounting services like payroll, like financial statements, or just tax compliance. But in addition to those services, we are also providing financial audit services and advisory services like tax advisory, legal advisory, internal audit, financial advisory services. So any services what a company from the beginning of incorporation till the end of the service, till the end of the business, like liquidations or something like that, we would like to cover all those professional services for those entities.
Great. And how many years have you worked with e-residence already?
Can't remember even.
I think we can't remember in that sense that as Grant Thornton is over 30 years in the market, basically we have been working with e-residents from the really beginning, but just that maybe like with e-residency team, more active cooperation we have had now last 2 years, I think. But definitely, as Kylie said, as we are also supporting companies from really beginning from the first day, I think many residents have been in our table, in our tax team table, legal team table. So we have been working from the beginning, I would say.
Yeah, and in Grant Thornton, as in Estonia, we're not covering only Estonia, but we have one Baltic partnership. So our Baltic partners are also e-residents.
Yeah.
So not only by assisting e-residents, but we are also our own management board members are e-residents as well.
For managing our own company in more efficient way.
Yes.
That's great. Lead by example, right?
Exactly.
Thank you for the introduction. We definitely get your expertise later during the Q&As. And just shortly, first of all, we talk about becoming an e-resident. Then we are talking about the company incorporation and very briefly about taxation. And Liina will start off about like general information about e-residency.
Yes, thank you, Raimo, and welcome everyone. Thank you for taking the time and to get better acquainted with the program. So I will start with what e-residency is, and first of all, it's a digital identity that is offered by the Estonian government to foreigners around the world. And what this digital identity gives you is the access to Estonian e-services. Estonia is a country in the EU that has digitized 99% of its public services. So all of the services that the government is offering to its citizens and also e-residents are online. They can be accessed online anywhere from anywhere in the world and at any time. Besides and on top of that, e-residency gives you the most secure digital signature in Europe, but I would even add that it's probably also in the world. We just haven't been assessing this in this way. While you can access through e-residency all of the Estonian public services, our main offering is still to start a business. E-residency thus becomes like a digital key to you to access Estonian economic ecosystem and run your business online. And on top of that, we also provide you with a like-minded community of different founders. And as of this week, we have 120,000 e-residents from more than 170 countries. So that's big for us because we're a very small country with just 1.3 million people, and to have this community, global community of people who are trusting Estonia and using its services is a great compliment. Now, while we speak about what e-residency is, I would like to also cover what e-residency is not. It is not a travel document. In fact, the card, or maybe I should show it here, it's like this. It has a chip, and this is how you can use it to digitally sign, but it does not have a photo on this. So it's only digital identity, and it's not a travel document. It's also not a visa or a residency permit, and it does not grant you citizenship or a shortcut to citizenship. It is also not a tax residency, and while Estonia tax system is super easy and very pro entrepreneurs, it is not a tax haven. And e-residency does not grant you a guarantee to get a business bank account or a personal bank account at any Estonian traditional bank. So the banks would still need to run their own KYC processes, and they follow their own criteria. And e-residency is not a guarantee to get one. Now, going forward, who can apply? E-residency is only granted to individuals. So first, you apply for e-residency yourself as an individual, and then later on you can start the company. When you start applying for the e-residency, you need to showcase your interest and your basically what you would like to use e-residency for. And like we said, our main offering is starting a company, so that would be the best way to demonstrate your interest in using Estonian e-services. E-residency is only for foreigners. Estonian citizens or residents of Estonia cannot and should not apply for e-residency. While I said foreigners from anywhere in the world, there are two countries that are whose citizens cannot apply for e-residency at the moment, and these are citizens from Russia and Belarus. And this is because of the war in Ukraine. Estonia stopped issuing new e-residencies for Russian and Belarusian citizens. And there is most likely another additional change coming next year. There will be additional restrictions to new applications for citizens from countries with whom we don't have a bilateral cooperation framework. But this is still not it's not implemented yet. It's in the draft law status. So we will update everyone once it's been accepted. Now about the reasons why to become an e-resident. Okay, I am clicking. Okay, so like I said, our main offering is to register a company. And when you register an Estonian company, since we are EU-based, since we are in EU, your company would be EU-based, and you can use all of the benefits that are available for an EU company. Like I mentioned, the digital signature has been declared as the highest highest EIDAS standards, and it's as strong as a handwritten signature, so it's legally binding, and it allows you to sign any documents and also to log in, for example, to your bank account or fintechs. And due to this, you can run your business anywhere and remotely and at any time. And like I mentioned, 120 people now from all over the world, and you can also ask questions from Martin himself as an e-resident. He can give you what it's like, give you an insight into what it's like to be part of this community. Now, application timeline. So first, when you start applying, you start applying online. You log in and it usually takes 30 minutes to an hour, but you can save whatever you've already put into the application form and come back to it later if you get interrupted. So no need to worry about that. You need to be able to say in your application what your motivation is to become an e-resident. You need to also provide a photo, and then you need to pick or choose the location where you want to pick your e-residency card up. And it's either in Estonia or in our embassies around the world. And depending on whether you would pick it up from Estonia or from an embassy, and whether you manage to do it still this year or starting from next year, the fee differs a little bit. If you manage to do it this year still, and you want to pick it up in Estonia, it costs 100 euros as state fee, and 120 if you pick it up from an embassy. Starting from January 1st, the fee will be 150 euros flat for everyone. So on top of providing all this information in your application, photo of yourself, then when you pick it up, you will also need to provide your fingerprints at the embassy or in Estonia. Now, once you have applied, the statutory time period of application process is 30 days, but it rarely takes that long. It's usually 20 days, sometimes even faster, 10 days to 2 weeks. And it's basically for the Estonian Police and Border Guard to go over the information that you provided. And if there are shortcomings or something is missing, they would ask additional questions. We encourage everyone to answer them quickly. Then that makes the whole process go faster. And once they approve your application, they will inform you via email that your ID has been sent to the chosen pickup location. And also, maybe just a few words about the statistics here. Estonian Police and Border Guard accepts over 90% of all the applications. So it's most likely that you would get it. Now, like I mentioned, when you go and pick up your card, you need to do it in person. You cannot send a friend to pick it up for you, and you cannot ask for Estonian government to send it to you via post. You always need to show yourself to Estonian official at least once. So when you go to the embassy, bring your photo ID with you, and also be ready to give your fingerprints. And then the embassy person will give you the card. The kit is currently like this. Oh, here it's better if I show it here. And then, but very soon it will be in a smaller envelope. So those who will apply next year will get a different view of it. And then you activate it, and then using the card, and in the kit there's a card reader as well, which you will plug into your computer, and then you would also need to install DigiDoc. It's a government developed system that enables digital signing. So that's also important. And then when you, then basically what you will have is you get access to all of the Estonian digital services. Now, a few words about where you can pick it up. We are a small country and we don't have representations or embassies in every country, but there are 40 plus locations. You can see that there are a few blind spots here. In terms of embassies, the further away you are from us physically, then it gets a bit more complicated to get the card. But it's still doable. We've seen this, and there are a few locations also in Southeast Asia, and in Tokyo, for example, in Singapore, where you can pick it up. Also Australia. And also, please make sure that when you choose where you want to pick it up, if you want to change that location, then fees apply. And also make sure that you have the necessary travel documents to travel before you book a time with the embassy. This is not completely like we don't have the exact dates yet, but we will have pickup sort of missions next year, where we will have Estonian government officials issue e-residency cards in Buenos Aires, in Sao Paulo, and also in Bangkok. So these are in coming year, in 2025, you can choose a pickup location that is not a permanent one, but can be established.
Regular visits taking place there.
Exactly.
After a couple of months, probably.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly. Right,
so this is the good news.
Yes, so that's it from me, and I'm also here for questions.
Yes, one thing maybe regarding the application, then there are definitely some questions related to you, maybe also some social media profiles or some other information asked. So it's always recommended to be as transparent as possible. And it's the purpose of getting to know you better during the process of application. Do we have any questions which we could ask maybe, or
renewing kits at the moment?
The question is that
sorry.
Would the person need to travel again to get the new kit in person when renewing after 5 years?
Yes, I mean, at the moment, you would still need to travel to pick it up, but we have some developments in the works, but that's probably like in a couple of years. We aim to become cardless. So this is our dream in 2027. When you reapply or when you apply for e-residency, then the card would only be an alternative, and you could activate like sort of like a wallet type of application on your phone.
Mm-hmm. But still, if you still have questions about application and e-residency in general, feel free to ask. We have some people from e-residency team to answer them in written as well. Now, I believe that the majority of the audience is interested in the business part of e-residency. And we start with actually introducing our e-resident guest today. So we have Martin Gregersen, who is Danish living in Germany and has visited Estonia several times. So would be great to hear a bit about your experience and your story as an e-resident and entrepreneur. Hello, Martin.
Hello, Raimo. Nice to be here today. Okay, so let me tell me a little about why I'm an e-resident. In 2016, I had been living in Greece for about 2 years after moving away from Germany. And back then I was freelancing. And basically I was moving from one country to another and have to learn how to manage to be a freelancer in Greece. It's very hard learning the tax system and so on. After 2 years, I moved again. And the problem was, okay, I don't know where I have to move next. What about the next rules? And I was so tired of, I just have to send invoice for my work. You know, like why do I have to deal with all these different EU countries? And finally, a friend of me told me about e-Residency. It's possible to have a remote, location-independent company that you manage over the internet and is established in Estonia. And for me, all my clients are basically in North Europe, sometimes other places in the world. And I have a VAT registered business that's important for me. So it was the only way back then to get access to remotely to the EU market. And since then, that's over 8 years ago, I founded my first business. Since then, I established 3 other businesses for different projects and reasons. But that's a short reason why I became e-resident. There is no other solution like this. There are some countries, Azerbaijan, Lithuania, and others that have followed along. But e-Residency is still the gold standard and the most stable platform you can run your location independent business on. Just notice that you have to have the proper business model that fits with this program. That's very important to think about.
One of the services you are working with is something that probably many e-residents would be happy to use. Can you give like a few sentences overview of what Sign Online does and how e-residents use it?
Yes, I would love to. So it's a bit over 2 years ago that we set the world record live in London at the London Tech Week opening ceremony and set the world record for the fastest founded company in 15 minutes. So it's very fast to establish companies with e-residency. What we're doing with Sign Online is that we make it very easy. We make it the easiest way, that's our mission, to sign documents. So with the e-residency card, I have mine here. I can sign documents with something called DocuDoc, like a program, and I can make these qualified electronic signatures, DigiDoc. I can make qualified electronic signatures to documents, and I can send them to my business partner, and they sign as well. But with Sign Online, we thought this is sometimes a problem that the other person is not e-resident. We don't have that. So if you go to sign.online right now, please do it. We would love to see you on the website. You can sign contracts between anyone in the world, even if you are e-residents or they're not. We have also actually developed a free, simple electronic solution for the very simple electronic signatures that you don't need the high qualified that we offer completely for free on our web platform, no subscription. So that was my pitch.
Great, thank you. Can I kindly ask people from Grant to mute the microphone? Something is coming in from your side. Thank you. Anyway, Martin, we would be happy to direct you also some questions, but as it's Christmas time, maybe a short question for you. Is there any specific tradition based on your Danish roots that you think would be cool to share with the audience? Like, what do you do Christmas time? Something special or something that is probably not so ordinary for others?
Yeah, so like when I came, let's just live in Denmark, I think everyone is like us. You know, everyone eat licorice in the whole world. Love it. Everyone have Christmas like us, but I found out they don't. So one thing we do that is maybe different is, you know, the Christmas tree. Everyone has it. I think many people have it. They put the stars on it, the presents underneath. And what we do is we sing songs and we dancing around it. So we hold hands and we are going around. Or some songs it goes faster and faster, and then we have one chain song where we're running around the whole house, maybe even outside in a long chain, singing the song faster and faster until it fall apart. And it's always super fun.
Okay, pretty interesting. Never heard about it. Thanks.
You have to drink a little before, and then you're ready to dance and sing.
Okay, no, we are prepared if we come to Denmark during Christmas time. Anyway, thanks, Martin. We'll ask some questions from you later as well, but let's cover the business part as well. So it's very likely that the people become Estonian e-residents to start a business in Estonia. And as already Liina also mentioned, the biggest value is that you can run your business in Estonia remotely, digitally, without using any paper. And it makes business very easy from the first moment you start, and then also when you run your business. I think all the business operations could be done digitally. I have been a company owner in Estonia since 2009, and I have co-founded or founded 2 companies. And I have never submitted anything on paper during this time since 2009. And I think as a private person, I had to do my first tax filing in 2001. And I think I have done once something on paper, and afterwards also as a private person, I have done most of the things digitally. Or maybe actually marrying application was on paper in the first hand, but it's not that anymore. You can also file the application for marrying
I think
digitally.
So we've been saying that 99% of our services are digitized because the one remaining service was divorce. That was still, you would need to submit it on paper, but they've also digitized that. So you can start that process. I'm not advertising divorce, but it's just as an example that you can apply to marry and to get a divorce. You can start those processes both online.
But for business side, indeed, business is easy, and it's all based on this digital identity and security systems built as a background to set up all the signing. It is digitalized country with very secure setup. So, for example, the data, Estonian data is hosted in Luxembourg in data embassies. So it's backed up in different places. So also in case of some emergency situations, your companies and the legal systems in Estonia still work on. We are open for the foreign businesses in the sense that once the foreign founders become part of Estonian business ecosystem, it's very likely that they can also apply for some kind of support measures or opportunities available for Estonian companies. And of course, also visit Estonia, find business partners here. Being fluent in English for business purposes is pretty common in Estonia as well. And like Martin, also join the community and find new friends, business partners, and corporations there as well. Now, if we compare Estonia with other business jurisdictions, then there are some things we would probably like to point out. The comparison is not there are only few comparisons here. You can find more detailed overviews in our blog and on our website. But definitely, once you have got your e-residency, then actually business registration is a matter of hours. It's very likely that if you make the company formation application in the morning, it's up and running in the afternoon, depending on how much work the people in the business register have to do. Then you do not have to have a local director here in Estonia or board member. You only need a contact person, which I'm going to explain later. And yes, as said, everything can be done digitally. And probably one more thing we would like to emphasize is that actually, as the tax and legal system in Estonia is not too complicated compared to some other places where there has been maybe hundreds of years of experience building up very complicated and diverse legal systems with a lot of exceptions. Then Estonian system of taxation and general legal framework is very straightforward, which makes the difference in, for example, filing taxes. So filing tax returns, according to the research, takes in Estonia around 50 hours a year, and big part of it you can actually outsource to companies like Grant Thornton and some others, but it's the number of double or triple in some other countries. Of course, first part is actually registering. Usually corporate service providers can help you with that one. You can do basically independently all the processes as well, but it's usually probably more comfortable and safe to use the help of service provider. Then the running part, everything that you need to do to be compliant with Estonian rules and to have a communication with Estonian state can be done digitally with the help of service providers or independently if you are up for it. And then you can start finding the growing opportunities, whether if you are running a startup, whether it's applying for accelerator, trying to find out is there any grants available for you, if you have, for example, a research-based business, and also join meetups and events taking place in Estonia. Now, there is one mandatory service that you need to use. If you are a foreign founder who is establishing Estonian company with the help of e-Residency and you are staying at your homeland, let's take an example of, I don't know, Czech Republic, let's say, you are in Prague, then if you are situated in Prague, then you need to appoint a contact person in Estonia who is, in the eyes of Estonian state, the person who receives the official notifications and letters that are sent to your company. We don't usually send anything on paper, like Estonian state rarely sends something on paper. It can be digital, but it may be that they need to send you something. Or let's say your business banking service provider would like to send your bank card to this contact point address. Then your contact person is obliged to receive it and send it for you where you actually are. Now, not a random person can act as your contact person. It's a licensed business in Estonia, regulated by Financial Intelligence Unit. So there are licensed businesses who can act as your service provider and the contact person. It also means that during the application process, you give quite a lot of background information about yourself. But once you are choosing the service provider and making a contract with them, they will do additional KYC for you, but most of the questions are related to your business history, like where are the funds of your business coming from? What is your previous business experience in the field that you are planning to open a new company? And so on, so on. So please be aware that corporate service providers that will act as your contact persons actually may ask these questions. But this is like a usual way of doing things. And good news is that we have our own marketplace of service providers in e-Residency marketplace. So it's a kind of curated choice of service providers we as a e-Residency program dare to suggest. So they have gone through our own vetting process. We know them. We have direct contact with these companies. They have given background information for us. We are sure that these companies are acting according to Estonian laws, so they are safe to use. And among those marketplace members, you are free to choose the service provider that you think is the best fit for your business solution, for example, because there are different kind of service providers. That the ones where probably the fees of the service are a bit lower, but the services are more automated. You need to upload more things by yourself. And then there are other type of companies who may give you more personal approach, help you with more different services and operations, but at the same time, then probably the higher fees are expected. So you can do the choice between based on your needs and possibilities. And from the marketplace, not only the corporate service providers who can act as company as contact person are available, but you can find also accounting companies there, legal and tax advisors, marketing and PR related companies, co-working spaces in Estonia, also accelerators and so on, so on. So you can visit our marketplace to check out which service providers could be the best fit for you. And then once you have your company up and running, then on our website, there is a sub-site that is focusing on funding and growth opportunities. So we have the best, probably the most comprehensive collection of grants and accelerators and funding opportunities in English. So everything you can find there is to at least to some extent open for e-residents as well. So we recommend you to check out like what kind of accelerators are there, which ones are currently open for applications. I know that, for example, Tenity is accepting applications for fintechs. Health Founders is accepting health startups right now, and so on. So you can go and check out there. And also grant opportunities from Enterprise Estonia and some other organizations as well. Most of e-residents choose to incorporate private limited companies in OÜ in Estonian. It's the most common business type. There can be one or several founders. It doesn't matter. The shareholders' liability is limited. So it's mostly the case that people establish OÜ. Share capital to get started is basically 10 euro cents. So usually it's round up for €1. So basically it's another big obstacle to get started. So there is no thousands of euros of share capital expected, that it's basically €1 or even less. So this type of company is suitable for all kind of SMEs, basically. It is possible also to establish a public company or aktsiaselts in Estonia, partnership, and also non-profits. If you are planning to establish an association that is, let's say, dealing with some kind of social problem, for example, only thing you cannot do, you cannot register as a sole trader, which is anyway quite a big hassle, and even Estonians don't like it. So if we need to do a little business, then Estonians do not usually use sole trader status, but rather establish a company, which is a more cost efficient and more easy way of running the business. As said, if we talk about costs, then as said, the e-residency application fee this year is still 100 or 120 euros. It's going to be 150 since 2025. Sadly, if you get no answer, the application fee won't be refunded. So that's the cost. Then registering a company costs 265 euros plus some service fee by the service provider for making the necessary things in the business register. But it can be also that some of the service providers don't ask service fee if you sign a contract with them for other services. The contact person service very roughly is 200 to 400 euros a year, but it's very likely that it's combined with accounting to one monthly service fee. So if you, as I mentioned, there are a lot of service providers that have like packaged services, which has a monthly subscription. They usually involve accounting and contact person and some administrative support already. Accounting price is starting from 50 euros per month, but then it's pretty basic. If you have higher volumes, if you have people on payroll, it's usually a bit more. So very rough estimate is that if you try to reduce costs and do as much as possible independently, the first year costs are around 600 euros. And if you have already accounting support, it's a double or more. But we are pretty aware that compared to most of the European countries, it's still pretty affordable, even with that price level or even higher price levels, to have professional accounting and legal support. So we can say that business services have like high quality in Estonia and the prices are pretty reasonable. Now, there is always a question about the business banking. As Liina already mentioned, if you become e-resident, no personal or business account in Estonian traditional bank is guaranteed, and that is true. I will talk about the business banking options a bit later, but now I will first of all introduce that there are three options. You can even have either have a account in Estonian bank, but the problem is, or not the problem, but the thing you need to be aware of is that first of all, you need to come to Estonia physically to get it opened. And second thing is that Estonian banks expect this company to have strong business ties to Estonia. And business ties to Estonia usually means that you either have someone hired here, you have an office or stock here, or your IP is registered here, majority of your partners or customers are here. So your business is strongly connected to Estonian business environment. Then it's an option also to have a business bank account in some other European Economic Zone bank, let's take again the example of Czech Republic or Prague. Let's say you are in Prague and you have had like 3 companies in Czech Republic already. And then you go to your bank and say that, hey, now I'm opening a new one in Estonia. So you know me well, maybe you are okay to have also account for my Estonian company. If your local bank says that that's fine, then this is legally exactly as good as Estonian bank or the fintech, which is the most common option for e-residents. Majority of e-resident companies have a fintech accounts that you can open online. There is a wide choice of them. Usually they have really good UI. You get a good customer experience. The only thing is that they do not have credit services available. So fintechs like Wise, Paysera, Payoneer, Vamo, Integiro, they are all very good. Also, Revolut is quite common to use. Also from our marketplace, you can see the selection of fintechs that are widespread and in use by e-residents. Probably also Martin can talk us later what options he has used during his journey as an e-resident. And yes, we have also a banking comparison table in our website in the knowledge base where you can compare different options. There are 2 Estonian banks available for those whose businesses are tightly connected to Estonia, and then plenty of fintech options that have usually multi-currency accounts. Some of them also have these payment processing opportunities available for those who are running SaaS or e-commerce businesses. So this was a brief overview of how does the company incorporation looks like. Martin, can you elaborate a bit on your experience with business banking?
Yes. So it is a bit over 8 years ago that I started Paradigm Shift, IT consultation company, and I applied for LHV bank account, and I got it. It was no problems. But at that point, I had also been doing business since 2009. So when I started my business, I already was professional paying VAT for 7 years in Germany, and I was directly sending invoices. So the substance I had in Estonia, like what I'm going to do with e-residency, was very clear because I have been doing that for a long time. So I didn't have any issues with LHV. I tried to do a loan one time, like to make a micro loan. They have these microloans up to 50,000, and they wrote back that they don't give money to startups. So I mean, I think that was just my startup they didn't want to give money to. I can't imagine they don't give any loans to startup at all, but that was the answer I got back then. So that was one experience. So later we then, to manage normal payments between professionals, I think Wise is a very good choice. You can hold many different currencies. So if you have some client that is sitting in India or Switzerland or some other country and they are paying you regularly with that currency, I had situations where I paid like 10% of an invoice in fees because I had to do wire transfers to India. And using Wise, having a Wise account, I could transfer the money without fee. So I would suggest anyone to get something like Wise because you can just get it very easily. And there is not the opportunity to get loan funding through that, but at least you'll be able to have a business banking. You will get an IBAN account. That's the most important. Finally, I want to talk about Stripe. So I also use Stripe. I still use all 3 providers because Stripe is great for their API payment gateway. So if you have, I have used Stripe to sell subscription services to IT services on like annual subscription basis, or now with Sign Online when we have payment. So if you are running a SaaS subscription-based business or any kind of web shop, Stripe is also a very good candidate. So there are also other options, Paysera and others that I haven't tried, but that's just my personal experience.
Thank you. Maybe let's take some questions. Actually, there is a question for Martin again that You mentioned before that your company's business plan should fit to e-residency like concept and guidelines. There was a question like how to figure out what are the e-residency preferences, or how to figure out like what works with the e-residency very well.
I mean, with one comment is you have to think about the business you are doing. If you are a hairdresser, okay, you are doing a physical business service for other people. You are cutting their hair, but you can't do this online, right? It's not possible to do a haircut over the internet. So if you do a business like this, and you register as an e-resident, and you are saying to the tax department that you are running an Estonian hairdresser, but you are cutting all the hairs in Germany, right? The permanent establishment of the company, it's very, very hard to make that be Estonia. In that case, you would have to have a headquarters in Estonia, have people working there, and then you would work as a freelancer in Germany, and they invoice that. So like if you have any kind of physical service or where you are in touch with your clients, you have to do more research about permanent establishment, what that means, before you make some decisions, I would say. Because some people, it's perfect for IT professionals, SaaS business, location independent businesses like myself, where I don't serve clients face to face. I don't sell any physical objects. So think a lot about the business plan, right? Also, Estonia likes to see that maybe a business to grow, to create jobs in Estonia, right? Or support the Estonian infrastructure. So what I would say is like, well, my Estonia, I hope that it will grow and it will create jobs for Estonians, and also in the end be able to benefit to the tax revenue of the country, right? So that's reasons for Estonians to stick to your company. And just think about it, like, why should the company allow you inside in their business environment? Why, and they also have to protect the other entrepreneurs inside the environment. So see it as an opportunity to think about your business before you start it, what you actually want to do, and the long-term plans, and then share that plans and that dreams in your application.
Okay, we have a good question for people from Grant Thornton. Do companies created by an e-resident can own a property in Estonia, let's say buy real estate or go after other form of investments? What's your experience on that?
Well, from any other investments, I'm sure they can do. Buy any shares, they own whatever kind of investments you wish. But about the real estate, I'm not sure actually whether it's limited with the EU or not. By head, won't say yes or no. I'll double check it and let you know. But don't know it by head.
So e-residents can own property, yes, but it might depend of the actual nationality or citizenship. So we will check and we can come back to it with.
I think it's definitely possible for EU citizens and the residents, probably. And we are aware that definitely there are e-resident companies that are owning real estate in Estonia. It's even like the rental businesses built up.
Yeah, definitely. It's just depending of if they are outside of EU.
Yes, but in general, it's possible as one way of investments. Another one, maybe as an example question for Grant Thornton. There is an example case that you basically have an online business, but you do sometimes physical workshops or trainings in other country, let's say in Germany. Does e-residency make sense? So most of the business is online, but from time to time it's physical.
Well, I think the e-residency would make sense if you want to manage your business really easily. But whether it does not trigger a case about being locally present in Germany or having a web business, I would say that. The question is, how would you like to manage an entity? In respect of taxation, being physically present in Germany by providing some workshops. It's the question of taxation in Germany, not in Estonia, and this is something that needs to be covered in Germany and considered from that perspective.
Okay, thank you. Good that we had this taxation question. So the last part of our session is actually giving you a very, very brief overview of the general structure of a taxation topic. First of all, we here in the e-Residency team cannot say that we are experts of taxation, and we do not give any tax advice. However, there are some resources available on our website about the general rules of taxation in Estonia and also international part. And we are covering some parts of it here as well. But definitely, before establishing a company, it makes sense to figure out what could be the tax obligations in your case. And if you are in doubt or there is a strong possibility that you may need to register, let's say, permanent establishment in other country, we always recommend to talk to tax advisors in your homeland. I don't know, Grant Thornton have hundreds of offices all around the world, for example, but it can be also your local tax expert or tax advisor you are using in your homeland. But general rules, everything related to personal income and taxation on personal income, it must be declared where you are tax resident. So if you are staying full-time in Germany, then you are a German tax resident and your personal taxation is according to the rules there. Now, corporate income tax, however, needs to be declared where the company is registered. So in case of e-Residency company in Estonia, it's in Estonia. But depending on how strongly are you tied to any other country, you may have also permanent establishment in other country. As was an example question there, that if you do everything digitally, but you quite often, let's say, do physical work in Germany or in some other country, then it's probably reasonable to check out whether you need to register a permanent establishment in your home country as well. Social taxes, however, need to be declared where your employees are located or registered. So if you have Estonian employees, which we of course recommend you to have, because it's easy to manage employment contracts and everything here. Then you need to pay social taxes according to Estonian rules. If you have people, I don't know, in India or in Germany or in the US, then according to the rules applicable there. And then VAT, there is it's always connected to where your business takes place and where do you sell. Estonian case, we have a threshold for VAT. Under that, it is not mandatory to register a VAT number. But if you are from the third country and you start selling to Europe, then this OSS scheme makes VAT declaring easier for you. Now, as said, you need to make very clear division between your personal taxation part and your company taxation part. If you think you as a private person, then you have your private income and the taxation related to that, your personal tax residency, which is usually tied to the country you are living in. Usually, like for example, in Estonia, if you live in Estonia more than 183 days a year, then you become a tax resident of Estonia, for example. Without that, no. Then withholding taxes and social taxes all related to you as a person. And then the company taxation, the tax residency by default, if you register a company in Estonia, it's Estonia, but it doesn't mean that it's all tied to Estonia, but then it depends also where your business takes place, where do you sell. There can be several tax residencies and then the permanent establishment related to your stronger ties to a specific country in terms of business. Also, Estonia has signed several, I think it's like with 70 or 60 plus countries all around the world, double taxation avoidance treaties, which means that If there is a case that Estonia and your homeland both would like to tax your company, then you shouldn't be double taxed. This avoidance treaty should make it possible to figure out the ways to avoid this double taxation. And then payroll is tied to the employee's location. And corporate income tax, in case of Estonia, it has been possible to defer it. In other countries, if you have permanent establishment, then the rules in this country apply also for corporate income tax. And then the VAT registration as well. So Estonian company does not mean that you have definitely 100% tax resident of Estonia. You get it automatically in the registration, but it all depends on real business activities. And it may end up having a permanent establishment in other country when like strong part of your business takes place there. And then e-Residency does not exempt foreign tax liabilities as well. You should keep in mind as well. And as said, there are double taxation avoidance treaties. And for that, we always recommend to talk to your local tax consultant, as it's usually the case also with the service providers available in e-Residency marketplace. Then your Estonian service provider is definitely expert in Estonian accounting and taxation, but they are usually not experts of taxation in other countries. So for that, it makes sense to have a local tax advisor. For our main biggest target markets, like the bigger European countries, we have also local tax advisors available in the marketplace, the ones that know e-Residency concept and can help you with sorting out the tax liabilities. Or you can choose the big international brands like Grant Thornton, who have offices all around the world, and they have the capabilities of building up the tax structure that works for your business. We have been the most competitive tax system in the world for 11 years already. Probably that's the reason for that is that our tax regulation is pretty straightforward, not too many exceptions. The tax rates are, well, it's always depending on the point of view, but the rates are rather low. So far, we do not have no annual corporate income tax, but there is small change coming up. Talk about it right away. But related to corporate taxes, then so far, reinvested profits have not been taxed with corporate income tax. So the basic logic has been that until the money stays in the company and you reinvest it, there is no corporate income tax. But since 2026, there will be a 2% security tax for the profit. So it will be applied also for e-resident companies based on the annual numbers of 2025 or the last business year. So it means that there will be 2% tax, but it's still pretty small compared to the traditional corporate income tax available in many other places. And this is a security tax, as you can imagine. It's related to our security situation and geographical location, which is sadly quite near to the war taking place in Ukraine. And Estonia is doing everything we can to be sure that your company and the people here and in the region are safe, and that's the investment to that. Then the corporate income tax itself will rise from 20 to 22% in 2025. And our VAT so far has been 22%, and it will be 24% in 2025. Now, regarding VAT, if your revenue is below 40,000 euros a year, then there is no mandatory VAT registration. And above that, you have to have VAT, and also this OSS and IOSS regimes for EU to simplify VAT procedures if you sell to many other countries in the EU as well. But related to VAT, always you should also keep in mind that that VAT is also connected to the specific countries that you are dealing with or doing the business. So there is Estonian revenue, it's revenue in other countries. So it may be that you need to have this VAT registered in different countries. And the most beautiful part, you can do everything online. Your monthly or quarterly or annual reporting can be done, submitted digitally. Your service providers are happy to help you with that. Or if you are independent enough, you can do it yourself. I'm like totally not a numbers person, but I have managed to declare my taxes so far successfully for my company for many years. So it could be done. And our tax board has been open and friendly for people. So if you have questions related to taxes or you are struggling with something, then always the good idea is to turn to tax board for some advice. They do give advice if you ask specific question that needs to be clarified. You can even sometimes get the tutorial with the screenshots how to do something. But the rule of thumb is that don't try to hide anything. If you have a good intentions, then usually our tax board is happy to advise and help. And even if you have done something wrong, then usually the first notice is to please do fix it. And there is a link for some tutorial how to fix it. And then if you're struggling with that, they still try to help you. But if you ignore the messages of tax board, then of course they are stricter in that case. But the general rules is that it has elements of advising organization, not only the one that makes fines. And that's a good feeling actually as an entrepreneur. And then we'll also go through as a last thing, what are the ways of having stronger ties to Estonia, which would be beneficial for you tax-wise and also may help you in building up the business so that you can apply for business account in a traditional bank if you want to. So renting an office or having like physical spot in Estonia, it can be also a shop or stock or something. You can hire employees in Estonia or register assets here, buy real estate, as was one of the questions or examples here. Relocate yourself as a person. If you are a founder of startup, then there is a startup visa program in Estonia. Become a digital nomad, which enables you to stay for some time in Estonia. Or for some countries also holding board meetings or doing the real business decisions in Estonia from time to time can help you in being strongly connected to Estonia and help in terms of taxation. Do we have any questions to answer right now?
There is a very lively chat going around in the chat bar, but no questions in the Q&A.
I have though. People from Grant Thornton, you have experience with different kind of e-residents. From those who are taking their first steps, also to the people who have established the different companies in Estonia, what would be your the main 3-4 suggestions for those who are really considering having a company in Estonia? What should they know, or what should they read, or what should they try to figure out before actually getting started with the process?
Well, Martin made a really good point, actually. You should know what you would like to do in Estonia and what's your business plan is and how do you want to actually change the world, I would say. Because if you have a clear plan, it's anyhow easier, because you have to, for example, if you want to become VAT liable in Estonia, you have the answers for all questions tax authority will ask from you, or your accountant will ask. So think through how and what will work for you, and also as it's easy to start up a business in Estonia, but you have to keep it running as well. So the reporting things, consider it through how you manage that. Will you take it for yourself? Then go through the Estonian Tax Authority website. There are a lot of trainings in English as well. and a lot of materials. But to be successful, I would say find yourself actually a good advisor who would carry you through that process, at least in the beginning. If you run it from the beginning with a really good advisory stuff as well, it helps to start with a really smooth process, and afterwards it's just a way to go forward. And the Estonian market in general is quite friendly, I would say, because all tax authority, all state authorities speak English as well. You can get the information in English as well, actually, not only in Estonian. And just don't I would say these are the main things. And of course, there's a lot of information in all the state portals about Estonian regulations. As Raimo mentioned, the Estonian tax system in general is quite straightforward. But as an e-resident, you should consider also tax side effects in other countries where you are acting. So yeah, we are the experts, for example, in Estonian market, but the markets where you actually work, for example, whether it's Pakistan, whether it's India, we are not in Estonia expert for those matters. Yeah. But these should be considered as well.
That's maybe what I wanted to say as well, that Kaili already took the words from my mouth, but what I wanted to say that even though it might look cheaper in the beginning to do it yourself, I think the beginning is the most important, that if no other place, go to e-Residency marketplace, choose a provider. If you know already that it's an international business, or you have the taxation matters might be appearing in different jurisdictions, then maybe don't choose the smaller provider. And maybe, yes, I'm not like too, objective to talk about, but just like it might be wise to choose someone who has, companies in different jurisdictions, so that, in the end, it might keep you some money if you actually use the advisor in the beginning.
Okay, great, thanks. And probably also I would add one thing, that go check out also e-Residency channels. There are a lot of resources in our blog and also in our knowledge base, which is like very, hardcore fact-based, step-by-step kind of library of different information bits and pieces. And also try to contact with e-residents from your region or from your business line and ask the experience they have. We have heard that this has worked the best, that we here could still be the sales ladies or salesmen, but then you have the glühwein with Martin and he will talk his story, and probably it's totally different because he has the first-hand experience. That's usually the best way to get an answers for your questions. We are wrapping up our webinar. Thank you for Kaili and Terje from Grant Thornton and Martin as an e-resident. And just to give you the last information about what's next, then you can give us feedback. You will get the email soon about the slides and the feedback form. So please do give us feedback. You check out the slides, definitely our website and so on. Join our groups in Facebook, Reddit, or ask support. And if you need something, and apply for e-Residency, still a bit cheaper this year than in 2025, but always welcome to join us in 2025 as well. And then with the use of this QR code, you are going to have the slides and the recording available there soon as well. Thank you for joining us. For those who are celebrating Christmas, happy Christmas time. For those who are not, then just enjoy every day you have, and see you soon.
Thank you.